Yeah. So far, we didn't hear a lot about who is in your team. I remember only hearing something about my father runs certain things, and I think your father and you are the two team members only, because that's all we heard. Yeah. But the rest of you, please talk to us a little bit about your team. Who is in your team? Who's going to do what? You know, things like that helps us to understand that you have thought through the process of making things happen. Finally, the execution plan, which generally is how are you going to start? How are you going to introduce your solution, and how is this going to scale and grow? These are all very important information, just based on the criteria itself. These are the judges' interim feedback. As I mentioned a while ago, how are you going to trigger that interest in that powder, the calcium powder that you are introducing? How are you going to introduce? How are you going to scale? How are you going to promote? How are you going to show that change has happened? Yeah. Importantly as well, don't tell us about the world's problems. We know the world, climate change, all these kind of things. We know what we know. Tell us what is your problem you're trying to solve. This group of farmers do not have access to these waters because they are always suffering droughts. This particular polymer will help them to gain or get more water faster or grow their plants faster by a certain percentage. All these kind of information are important. We need to know what is the problem. Make that clear, write it down. It's just one liner. Make it clear to us, what are you trying to solve? Because if we don't know the problem, your solution is nothing. Yeah, because there is no problem. Next, what is the typical process of your service? If tomorrow someone says, I want 100 pieces of your bag, how are you going to create 100 pieces of that bag made of fruit fibers? Yeah, tell us about that. Next, what is the value of your product to the user? We're not talking about money. We're not talking about this bag will cost 200 ringgit, this bag will cost 300. No. This bag will bring to this particular family or bring to this particular user what kind of help, what kind of value. Again, that is only a simple statement. A simple statement will help us know what is the value of the bag to the user. Okay, we need to know what is that value. That means what kind of help do you bring to that user if you think your solution is a help. Finally, what are your steps to success? We have heard of your solutions, we have heard of your help, some of which, but we haven't heard what is your process to reach that success. Tell us about these markers. For example, from next week onwards, we are going to run a school retreat where we will always talk about sustainability on a weekly basis. Okay, that's the first step. By next year, June, we will be having one conference where we will talk about sustainability and we'll be giving awards. By next year, certain time, things like that helps us to understand what you are doing to scale the product that you're trying to introduce. Or else, it is just a product that you hope people will take. And merely by Facebook post or your social media post, you hope that the next person will want that product. It doesn't work that way. Yeah? That's it. Anyone has any questions on the page? Not the page, sorry. On the criteria and the interim feedback. Anyone, any questions? Contestants? Who's here to win? Everyone like, I only got one group, two groups. I'm here to win. I'm here to win. Yeah, right. Yeah. Miss Anne is here to win. Who wants to beat her? Oh, look at the hands. Look at all the hands. Woohoo! Well done. Give yourself a round of applause. There is one question. Take note now, we'll deduct marks from this question. Just kidding.
So when we're talking about something like research, which it really depends on, we can't really say how long it's going to take to be able to break through. How would we be able to include that when we don't know how long it's going to take?
We need to see your steps, your progressive steps. It's not about when you are predicting the adoption or when you're predicting the $1 million investment. Yeah, we are talking about what are the steps to reach there. For example, when will it take for 100 people to adopt your t-shirts? For example, when will be the first 100 t-shirts be sold? So information like that, that also helps us to understand how are you going to get there. Are you going to do Are you going to launch promotions like buy 5 get 1 free, buy 200 get 600 free? Then of course you reach the 100 first lah, very easily. Okay, so I'm going to go into the next part, which is more important because we are talking about changes to human lives. Your solutions should all change human lives. Like I said yesterday, innovation with no changes to human lives is no innovation. And that means nothing has happened. You have just created a white elephant. That sits there for nothing. Anyone understands the analogy of the white elephant? Not many do. So the white, it's a good question. I also don't know. I don't quite understand the analogy of the white elephant. But anyway, it looks, there's no white elephant, so it's there for no reason. It just remains there standing because there's no such thing. It's a statue. Yeah, so that's the analogy of a white elephant. And you don't want to create things that are useless to others. Okay? Here are some tips. All of you who are preparing your pitch, here are the tips, and you have to try.